Hey, welcome back to my channel, Indieauthor Jill. I'm back home. Finally. It felt like forever that we were only gone for like a week and a half, but it felt like forever. Especially with everything going on up in Massachusetts, and we were constantly running back and forth between his mom's house and Springfield. Uh, but uh The nice thing is when you're on vacation, you can do a lot of reading because, especially if there's just not a whole lot else to do. And there really wasn't. A lot of times when we go up there, um, his mom takes advantage that her contractor of a son is home, so she immediately put him to work with fixing things around the house and everything. So while he was busy, I was able to go out to the garden or go out to the over to the library or whatever, or just hang out in the room and read. Um, but the last book from my vacation uh, batch was The Lotus Key by N.M. Thota. I have had this for probably a little over a year. Um, and I'm kind of annoyed with myself that it took so long for me to actually pick it up and start reading it because it's so good. Um, it says that the tale of the Varsha is a mystical subcontinent loosely based on ancient India. And then a lot of the names are uh, they're difficult for me to pronounce because they're not. Veer and Chandra were. I loved the fact that Chandra and Veer's name were so common for me to pronounce, and that's not even her actual name. It's a shortened version of her name. Um, but they call her Chandra so often. Every once in a while, they will call her by her actual name, Chandrasena. Um, and then, and it actually doesn't even start off with Veer and Chandra, which is enough to be is confusing enough. But um, when um you get the um back the ancient tale that Veer and Chandra are being told. Um, Ara is a princess, and she is being um pursued by a rival kingdom, members from a rival kingdom. One of the members of the rival kingdom is her lover Danu, and he had uh, worked his way into being her betrothed and gained her confidence and gained her was because of her was able to because of his connection with the princess and his betrothal to the princess was able to get his own kingdom into her kingdom, and they pretty much killed the entire royal family. And it starts off with her running from her pursuers who are attacking, and the guard that is protecting her, he keeps calling her queen, and she's like, "Why do you keep calling me Queen Ara? I'm not the queen, my mother is." And he's like, "I would not be calling you queen if your mother wasn't dead." And he tells her to use her eye, uh, and surely she'd know that her mother was dead. And you're at first you're thinking, what, her eye? Don't you mean eyes, like plural, two eyes? But actually, there is a um, magic at work here with the royal family where they hold power, their magic power is in their right eye, and their left eye holds their immunity. Um, so basically, they can use the power in their right eye, and their left eye protects them from the effects of their own power. And Danu knows this, and that's one of the reasons why he betrothed the princess, was to learn the secrets of the family, to learn the source of their power. One of the things he did not take into account was a couple of things actually. One, he did not know, and Ara, uh, and at her father's behest, kept the secret of her birth kept her birth anomaly a secret at the insistence of her father, the king. But I don't think Danu also. I also don't think Danu knew that how the power shifted. So that if you have the king and the queen, they both have powers, and then they have their children, and say they have 5 children. There is power. The queen has a power, the king has powers, and all 5 children have powers. If one of those people die, their power doesn't just go away, it gets dispersed evenly among the rest of the family. So if the queen dies, her power is evenly distributed between her husband and her 5 children. If her husband dies, uh, the 5 children are evenly distributed with all the power that was within the king, and on and on and on. With Ara, her siblings died. I believe the way it worked is that her siblings and ended up getting killed first. So all 5 of them, their powers were evenly distributed between Ara and her parents. Then her mother passed away, was killed, and then her power was distributed evenly between Ara and her father. So Ara knew that her parents, or her mother and her siblings, were dead without knowing, without seeing it, without being told. She just knew because of the surge of power in her, but she was trying to ignore that because you don't want to believe that your parents are, your family is being brutally murdered. And so uh as she's basically left alone, she is pursued by her pursuers, and in the midst of them is her lover, who she realizes has betrayed her. And that's bad enough. And then as she's facing them off, and she's ready to do whatever she can to attack them and keep them at bay, and try to maybe rejoin her father wherever he is, she feels a trickle in her left eye. And she looks up, and there's a ribbon going, kind of suspended from the ceiling, going into her left eye. And this is how she is informed that her father has passed away, because all of his power is now being directly funneled into her. Um, so now she has full power. She has all the power of the kingdom. And the ribbon is invisible to her pursuers, so they have no idea what, she's reacting badly. Like, she's like, no, no, but they're like, what is she talking about? Realizing she has power and she is ready to take these people, she is mad. She goes from being upset and devastated to, I'm ticked. You know, you came into my kingdom, you betrayed me, you came in, you killed my mom, you killed my siblings, you killed my dad, and I have nothing left to lose. I am done with you. And so she um starts activating a magic inside this kingdom. She makes a almost a barrier to keeping them from being able to leave, and then this like wheel that is above them starts spinning and coming down to kill them, and they stop her because they bring out their last playing card, and their last playing card is they haven't killed all of her family. They've killed her siblings, they've killed her mom, they've killed her dad, but they have not killed her nephew. And he's just a small child of like 6. and they bring him out, and her lover is the one that decides he's going to have the boy with him because he actually is not what she thinks. He assumes he is doing what he needs to for his country. And he even gets to a point where he does love Ara, and he wants to, uh, in his mind, if he could, he would spare both her and the nephew. Um, but he realizes he's not going to be able to spare Ara. So, at the very least, he wants her to have a quick death and not to suffer. So, having the nephew, he can guarantee that the nephew does not get harmed. But his comrades tell her that the only way that they will let her nephew go safely is if she impales her right eye and destroys the right eye, because that's the information they have. The right eye has their magic, the left eye has their immunity. Again, Danu doesn't know she's an anomaly, so it's actually reversed for her. So she is more than willing to take out her right eye because it doesn't contain her power. It doesn't leave her powerless. So she takes out her right eye, very gory, and she tells them, "I've done what you asked. Now let my nephew go." And uh, they go up and try to take control of her, and they uh, inform her that they have no intention of actually letting him go, and they um, make the comment of, why shouldn't we just kill all of you? Why should we leave even one of you alive? And Danu makes the comment, guys, if you're gonna kill her, just do it already. And they're like, why should we make it be so merciful? They weren't merciful to us. Why shouldn't we be as torturous and evil as they were? And Danu's like, because that's what makes us better than them, is that we're not barbaric. And they refuse to listen. Well, realizing that her nephew is in danger, and she still has the power, she activates a weapon. Now the thing about this weapon is it is specifically designed that it cannot be activated unless every member of the family that holds power agrees to activate it. This is done so that one person can't make the decision. It did not take into account that there might only ever be one person that could do it. And with all her family dead, Aura's the only one that has any power to control it, to activate it. So, with all the power in her, one person can decide to activate the power. And the weapon, and it's a celestial weapon. And Danu tells her, he tries to reason with her. He says, wait, don't do this. You'll destroy yourself as well. Your immunity is compromised. And for her, it's too late. You can't pretend that you care about me now. And she doesn't realize that he does care about her because they don't communicate with each other. And they don't, I have said this before in other previous videos, that I hate it when there's a lack of communication, especially between people who should be able to communicate, who have been trained for proper communication, such as royals. But in this case, it makes a lot of sense because they are rival kingdoms. They're not supposed to be uh they they they're not going to trust each other. They're not going to trust each other's motivations for sure. So they're going to keep things close to the vest, and they're not going to trust each other with the information. So she doesn't trust him with the information of her being an anomaly. She doesn't trust him with the information of the weapon, of how the power is distributed. He doesn't trust her enough to tell her the um scheme that is going to be, and to actually tell her that he does actually care about her and he does love her, but he is just torn between his sense of duty to his country and his sense of duty to his betrothed. um and this is actually the catalyst for the rest of the story, because she does activate the weapon. she doesn't listen to him. He does everything in his power to protect the child that is with him, her nephew, and makes sure that the nephew is safe, regardless of anything else. Once they get clear of the rubble, he sets the boy off to go wherever he can to find whatever he can. But he does not let the boy stay in the rubble. He doesn't let him die in the rubble. He does protect him and save him. And he wanders the woods to try and find out how far this damage has gone, to find any hope of restitution, any hope of a future. And what he finds is a goddess standing over the body of Ara, who is barely alive. And the goddess is condemning Ara for her actions. And Danu tells the um, goddess, it wasn't her fault. I put her in this position. She did it because of my actions. She was just reacting to me. And the goddess is insisting on punishing Ara. So Danu tells her, then let me take a share of her punishment. And the goddess is quiet for a minute and she considers them and she says, I have never seen someone make this request and actually mean it. She's like, so I'll grant you the request. Here's my punishment for you. You will continue to find each other throughout the centuries, and only when you are able to overcome your misunderstandings and understand each other will you be at peace. And so then you go further into the future. Now you have this is an ancient time and this is an ancient story that has been told to again, I don't know these places names. The best I can come up with is Avaranthi and Ragadash. I'm probably wrong on all of that. Definitely the Ragadash. Uh, but Amar Amaravathi Amaravathi is um Ara is, from what I can understand, reborn as Chandranisa in Amaravathi, and Danu is reborn as Veer in, I will find it. But as they are as they're it moves on to the where Chandranisa and Veer, um where Ara and Danu are uh I don't want to say reanimated, that's not right. Reincarnated? Yeah. Reincarnated as Chandranisa and Veer. And Chandranisa is a descendant from Ara and her family in Amaravathi, and Veer is, I believe, it's very I don't know. I don't know for sure, but he's reincarnated as a prince of Rajgar. Yeah. Uh, so, um, and this picks up 7 years after a marriage has happened between Chandra and Veer. Rajgar and Amaravati were um, in at war, and their the kings were became desperate to end the war in any way possible, without giving up too much either way, without either one conceding too much. And finally, the idea came of, rather than these two kingdoms be at war and either one be conquered by the other, what if the crown prince from Rajgar and married one of the seven daughters of the king of Amaravati? And um, so that's what ends up happening. And Veer ends up choosing to marry Chandra. And on their wedding night, Chandra is found standing over the body of Veer's best friend, um, Balat. Um, okay, we should be. Okay, yeah, this is the part where she is telling him her three requests. Uh, I do. It's actually at this point that I realized, and I can't. I had to get up and walk away when she made her third request. I had to get up. I had to put the book down and get up in the middle of a chapter and walk away for a minute to process what it um what it implied, what it meant to me, what it had to mean. Um oh, okay. His name comes up here. Virat. That was the name. So he had a best friend named Virat. And on their wedding night, he found, after they got married, he found Chandra standing over Virat's body, her dagger in his hands, in her hands, and Virat dead. And so for him, he was like, I can't forget. Like, he was murderous. Like, you killed my best friend. Like, how is this helping the whole peace thing between our kingdoms? She went to trial, and he um, basically had her condemned to whippings, and which um and then he refused to take her back home with him because he couldn't trust her, because you killed my best friend, why wouldn't you kill me, you know. And she has it's been 7 years since that incident, and the punishment has been her punishment has basically been she's been exiled from her own kingdom. Her and her mother were sent away, and not only was she exiled, but she was also forced to take lashings, a whipping once a week, once a year, um, for her uh, alleged crimes. I'm going to go with alleged crimes because I don't think she did it, based on when she was, by the time you get to where she gives her three ultimatums, or her three conditions of, I will go with you on these three conditions. Um, and the reason she needs to go with them is because this opens up, like I said, the when it gets to Vera and Chandra as part of the story, where they have been allegedly reincarnated as Vera and Chandra. Vera is at the top of Mount Meru, and it's about to erupt. There's about a year before it will erupt, taking out all the kingdoms around it. It is an active volcano, obviously, which you see here. Well, there is a mechanism inside the volcano that keeps it from erupting, and it is controlled by a key that is shaped like a lotus flower, the Lotus Key. And it's missing six petals. And the six petals are scattered around this continent, and they have to go and find the six petals and put them together and return to Meru and get it to stop erupting and save their uh, kingdoms. The problem is not just anybody can get these lotus petals. It has to be members, descendants of the family line, the that Ara, basically direct descendants from Ara's direct family line, which Chandra is. And so they need Chandra to activate the petal, and so she has to, each petal, when she gets a petal, she has to give it some of her blood. It acknowledges her as a proper user of the Lotus Key, and adheres itself to its proper spot on the Lotus Key. Once the Lotus Key is completed, they can go back to the mechanism, and they can re activate the mechanism and keep the volcano from erupting. But they continue to distrust each other because she will not tell him the truth of what actually happened the night of their wedding. And if she did, I don't know that it would help, honestly, especially by the way she reacts to him when she explains how a wizard's possession of a human body works. Like, he knows that she's telling the truth on how the power works. What he doesn't what he knows that that's how the power works, but he only knows one person that could use that power. And in his uh what he is claiming is, there's no way the person that could use the power could have used the power. There were things in place to keep that from happening, but Chandra knows that that person did use that power. And um it's for that reason that she knows how the power is used. And it's one of the reasons she does not trust Veer. And because Veer wholeheartedly trusts everybody that is in his company, he trusts Belvita, he trusts Shota, he trusted Valat, he trusts his people. So anything that Chandra or anybody else says against his people, he's going to take with less than a grain of salt. So, yeah, she could tell him what actually happened the night of their wedding, Would it make a difference? I don't know. At least at the point in time when she is giving him her three conditions, I don't know if that it would have made a difference at that point. As they go along, they do start to trust each other a little bit more. They develop a very fragile relationship, but they're still keeping secrets from each other. So, what does that translate to as far as their trust is tentative at best? Thankfully, this is only the first book in the series, because I definitely want to read the next book in the series to because it doesn't stop there. They don't find all six petals in this. On top of that, there is more going on. Uh, the first of which is that there is a 7-year-old little boy living in the palace where Chandra is. She is her maid's son. And um, I think the way that the last vision in the book played out, I think that we're going to see a lot more of Sauron, the little 7-year-old boy. Um, and he's probably the only one in Chandra's kingdom that Veer has any amount of uh, affinity towards. He does like the boy. The boy makes him laugh, and the boy, regardless of the fact that he knows that Veer is a prince, he doesn't treat Veer like a prince. He treats him like an equal. And Sauron treats a lot of people around him like an equal. Even Chandra, even though Chandra is a well-respected princess to his mother, like his mother cares very much for Chandra. They're best friends, and so Chandra's kind of like an aunt to Sauron, and even Sauron doesn't really refer to her so much as a princess as just this is my mom's best friend, you know. And I kind of hope he does play a part. Um, I I like I said, I have my suspicions about Sauron anyway. Um, so it makes sense that he would play a part because I feel like Sauron, without giving too much away, Soren is a key in and of himself of uh, everything. Like Soren is what starts off is the reason that um, Chandra and Veer's uh, story starts off the way it does. Um, and everything kind of revolves around him, whether Veer knows it or not. Chandra certainly knows it. Um, but I mean, she's living like Soren lives in the palace with her, so she's more aware of his implications than anybody else is, and she's very protective of the boy. Um, there is a lot of back and forth between Chandra and Veer that I really enjoyed because I kind of understand where each one of them are coming from. With Chandra, she has one of her conditions is that she tells Veer she will go with him as long as he promises to not coerce, force, or in any way try to get her to go against her own religious beliefs and morals. And he agrees. He does not understand her religion. He doesn't understand her religious beliefs and why they're important to her, but he knows that they are important to her. As a matter of fact, he sometimes will spy on her practicing, and he realizes that she's very devout in her religion, and again, he doesn't really understand why. And again, it's Chandra keeping secrets, and one of the reasons why she is so devout that in her religion she's sticks to a vegetarian diet. She does her exercises and her practices, um, she keeps her rituals every single day. Not when she feels like it, not just because there's sun, but anytime she has she makes sure she does her rituals every single day. She keeps to her diet. She keeps to her belief systems, even while they're traveling, even when they're living in caves. And what he doesn't understand is that it is her religious devoutness, it is her devoted devotion to her religion that is gives her access to her magic. And her and Veer both have different magic. They just have different ways of accessing them. For Veer, it's an innate thing. It's a natural born thing. For her, it's something that is granted to her by the gods and goddesses of her uh, religion. And so she has to keep these devoted practices in order to keep her magic. And if she didn't, then even though she is of the bloodline, she may not be able to use the Lotus Key. So it's actually the reason he needs her is because of how devoted she is to her religion. Um, and like I said, she keeps her secrets, he keeps his secrets, and little by little they kind of unfold those secrets as they learn to trust each other. Um, but there are times when like she is giving him obvious hints to the different secrets, and he is just so bloody dense. And you're just like, Veer, get there faster, dude. But I mean, it's frustrating, but in a good way. Like it keeps you wanting to turn the pages. Like I said, um there were times when I had to put the book down. I was like, okay, wait, I have to go and do dishes or something and process the information I just got out of this book about this story and how it all works together and the implications of that information. Um, I and this see this is one of the reasons why I love BIPOC authors is because the stories from their cultures, like this is like I said, loosely based off of ancient India. So Inem Thota is definitely pulling from um her own culture and her own background, and I love getting immersed in the stories that other cultures love to tell. And this is like I said, I'm getting the next book. If you want a copy of your own, the link will be in the description below. Uh, Definitely go give this a read. It's so much fun. It was such a good keep you on your toes. Um, Adventure, romance, political intrigue. What more could you want? You know. Um, so yeah, I'll leave the link to the description below, and if you don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Um, if you just want to let me know that you were here or that you want to help the algorithm keep suggesting this these kind of videos for you, drop a comment and just comment the emoji of a flower. I don't even care what flower, just your favorite emoji flower. Um, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.